What's up, guys? Today I wanted to start this video off at a quiet and peaceful place, and I think I found a good one. This is actually the largest outdoor green space cemetery in the world, I think. Even it's in the north of Hamburg. I can show you on the map right now. And if you look closely, I don't know if I'm going to be able to zoom in on that, there's even an icebird sitting just below the tree line, just above the water. Probably can see it. So I wanted to introduce you guys to this new series. It's a small series. It's about 5 to 6, maybe 7 episodes long. As announced in my last video, which was quite a personal one, we were going on an adventure. Our plan was to fly to Porto and then make our way up north to Santiago de Compostela, which is the way of St. James. So we were going on a pilgrimage, but we actually just thought about going on a hike, going on an outdoor adventure, just being active, being outside, just going for whatever is going to happen on the day, making our way up north through Portugal, through Spain. We had a guide at our hands, which gave us some fixture on how long these legs are going to be and where to sleep and where to start or where to end up on a day. But we already mixed them up a little, and the way itself had some limitations on these legs. So we not really had a spiritual intention with going on this path, which definitely changed over the course of this adventure, as you will see in the next videos. And when I came back, which was already about 2 months ago, I wasn't really finding a good rhythm with my studies and sports and general in my life. It took a while. Now I'm thinking I'm kind of on track again, but I wasn't able to put these videos out sooner. Because of the personal stuff going on. I had a lot of things keeping me from being peak productive. But I think now I'm going to be able to put these videos out in the near future, over the next few weeks. So, first day I made my way down to my friend's place, from where we would fly to Porto. The days before our flight was due, we watched the weather development closely. Going for a multi-day hike, we were anxious about if the weather would be gentle with us or not. The day before we would be flying to Porto, the area got hit by a low-pressure storm system, which resulted in cancelled flights and flooding. But we hadn't got any notice from our airline yet, so we just assumed that everything went to plan. But the idea of flying into a storm system like that was inducing some excitement in both its ways, as someone suffering from fear of flying and as someone extremely fascinated by severe weather. After making my way to my friend's place, we used a short night for some rest. We made our way to the airport via private taxi. Thanks once again. The flight was scheduled to start close to sunrise, so we were excited for the view. At the time the plane carried us above the clouds, we had already been awake for 4 hours and we still had a long day ahead of us. As the morning sun lit up our faces, we were thrilled to finally be going on this adventure. Our expectation was still like we were just going on a regular active vacation. We couldn't grasp the full scale yet. As we closed in on the far southwest of this continent, we realized that there was not much left of the storm system plaguing our minds the days before. Some rain was still to be expected over the coming days, but how the weather actually turned out to be was completely unexpected.
Wollen wir nicht am Flughafen machen? Achso. Ja, das ist doch ein bisschen teuer. Also,
If you've ever been to an airport, you know the vibe this experience has. Being at an airport for most people will always be strongly connected to vacation, which usually is seen quite positively. I read an article about why vacations are particularly stimulating experiences for your brain and thus result in extremely formative experiences. Those type of memories which will never fade away and always gives you this deep excitement when remembering. Another thing you know if you've ever been to an airport is the fact that it is extremely focused on motorized transportation. Have you ever thought about getting to an airport by bike or even walking? The first intercontinental flight I ever took was from Frankfurt Airport. It was the beginning of the global pandemic and I literally got there a day early just in case my train wouldn't be going due to possible infections. It was a wild time. But what I did with my spare time I had was not to stay in my hotel, but to make my way down to the airport and enjoy some plane spotting, all by walking. And now we wanted to go on a hiking adventure, so what would be a better start to get out of the airport vicinity without taking public transportation? Something I just noticed working on this video is the insane tree notion I had even this early on, because what I'm going to point out here is something you experienced all over Portugal with the tap water.
oh, riecht ihr das? Portugal. Das riecht ein bisschen nach Desinfektion, nach Chlor riecht so ein bisschen.
After leaving the airport, we found ourselves in a beautiful local neighborhood and we were fascinated by the architecture.
Alter. Was ist das? What the fuck? Hier rechts auch das Gebäude. Okay.
After actually being able to leave the airport area by foot, we still had to head even further west to find the coastal path of the Path of St. James. The Path of St. James has become an ever-growing phenomenon in German culture, being popularized by the comedian Harpe Kerkeling, who after being forced to take some time off due to being overworked, went on the pilgrimage and wrote a book about it, which was later also turned into a movie. The Path of St. James describes a lot of different ways all over Europe, with the goal of arriving in Santiago de Compostela. The most famous one being the path going through France. Starting from Porto, we had two options, the coastal path or the path following the countryside straight north. We decided to go for the coastal option, which has less tradition but has the huge argument of hiking next to the Atlantic Ocean. After 5 days, both paths would meet, but more on that later on.
Ein bisschen die Überschwemmung noch.
Originally, both paths would begin in Porto at the cathedral, but we wanted to use the opportunity we had by starting at the airport to combine leg 1 and 2 as recommended by our guide, and therefore have more time after finishing the pilgrimage to explore Porto before heading back home. This is also the reason we urgently needed to find a place where we could get our pilgrim's passes. By the time we found the first possible place to get something to eat, we were already extremely hungry because of the long day.
Mission completed.
Closing in on the coastline, we still wanted to find a supermarket afterwards to prepare ourselves for the rest of the journey. As we finally reached the coastal path, we were extremely excited because we knew all this traveling had brought us right where we wanted to be. I told you earlier that we used the opportunity to combine leg 1 and 2 as the airport was further north than the Cathedral of Porto. By the time we made our way up the coast, we were passing by the city where the first leg should have ended, and it was only around 11 AM, so we continued our journey as planned. While hiking up the coast, we noticed a small shop at the roadside which actually offered what was still left to acquire for this journey.
Swag! So it started raining.
With the rain setting in, we arrived at one of the most beautiful parts of the first leg. The views over the alternating sand beaches and rock structures with the leftover increased wave height from the storm system was one of the highlights on this trip.
Oh my god. The waves. Crazy. And this is where we're headed. There's the airport. This is what we saw when we were landing, and that's all the way we came, like this approximately.
After this magnificent view and the sky clearing up, we were fueled with motivation. Even though we were already awake for about 12 hours, everything seemed to go smoothly. The beautiful rain cloud structures approaching above the rough ocean offered, besides the mesmerizing view, also some protection from the sun, which started to become more of a problem.
Oh mein Gott, ich hab das gar nicht gesehen, dass die Wellenlage... Kommen wir alle hinter dir hoch. Ja, ich dachte, die ganze Zeit warum steht.
Das war egal. Von der City, die da hinten auftaucht. Don't jump. Freedom, man. It's one hell of a drive.
The city we were headed started to close in on the horizon, but the short night and the sharp sun above us really started affecting us on a physical and mental level.
Alright guys, we are officially, I don't know, 8 hours in. We lost all the motivation and we are suffering from pain in the head. We can't even think straight anymore. I hope this will get better. Will get better in the next few days. Man, fuck this shit.
Ja, aber der kann ja doch nichts machen. Ah nee, guck mal, der konnte Windy. Ja, schon Windy. Moment. Okay, komm.
With the city just ahead, it took us one last push to pull through the last 5 kilometers, mostly urban terrain, until we finally arrived at the albergue, which means hostel in English. Having no prior experience as a benchmark for how humane these accommodations were going to be, we were expecting the worst. So we decided to get dinner before checking in, so that we just could end our day right then. The last few kilometers we somehow just suffered through. We didn't even talk for about 30 minutes. It was just a long straight path through some alleyways like this one. But then, after an extremely long day, we finally would have some rest. But there was one problem.
What's up guys? Guess who missed the times for check-in? It's literally 21 minutes past 6 p.m. Now we're looking for some alternatives. Fuck us.
We accepted our fate and booked a private room in a normal hostel and just dragged ourselves over there.
It's dark.
Egal.
Is this my Stammcouch? Where do I sleep?
Ja, hier.
After a 19-hour day, we finally found a place to sleep from which we could attack the next leg. When facing new situations, it will usually take some time to gain experience, but still we didn't really had a lot of things we would adjust later on. It turned out that even though we missed the check-in for the cheap hostel, we didn't really make a mistake. Besides having a quieter and more comfortable sleeping experience, it turned out that closing check-in at 6 p.m. was extremely early comparing to the albergues we stayed the rest of the journey.
Alright guys, this was the first leg of our journey. I hope you enjoyed it. I really can't give you any guess on when the next episode will come out. It's probably not going to take another 2 months, I promise. I'll try my best. But I really want to take my time with these videos to give them a higher quality, to make them more enjoyable to watch. And this is going to be the focus of this channel in the future. Going more on the adventurous side of things and showing, instead of telling you guys about what I've learned and what you can try and my thoughts, I just want to show you more of what is actually going on in the world, which is just more intrinsic for me. I'm more motivated to do these videos. I think these videos where we go out in the world together and I show you what this world has to offer, bring you new perspectives, life as they happen, is way more valuable for you and also for me. So this is going to be my focus in the future, and this series is going to continue. There are going to be another few episodes. I can't really tell how many because I don't really remember everything I filmed, so I'm not able to predict how many videos I'm going to be able to make. But it's definitely going to be another 5 or 6 videos, definitely. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you stick around for the next ones.